Well, hello, my fabulous friends. I hope you're doing well. Wow. I went into a reading regarding does Prince George, is he the reincarnation of King George VI? And there was a cryptic message there that Queen Elizabeth said in her auto writing that little George is her father. But the card said it wasn't King George VI. So then I asked, is King George VI the Queen's father, biological father? The card said no. Then I asked, so do you want me to dig deeper into this? And a lot of you said yes. So here we are. If you haven't seen that, go back a couple of days, possibly last week, not further than last week, and it is Prince George, King George VI. And originally I had it reversed. I had King George IV, but I meant King George VI. But the cards know who I meant. So let's explore this a little more. Now, some of you said, now, why would they do that? Well, you have to remember a lot of Queen Victoria's descendants had hemophilia. And we don't know if King George had that, right? We don't know if he had that. So maybe there was something like that. And so then they had somebody else was the contributor of the sperm. But the cards definitely did say it was royalty. It was somebody who was king at the time. So it couldn't have been any of, he would have been a prince when he married the Queen Mother, right? So he would have been a prince. So the card said the father, the contributor of the sperm of Queen Elizabeth, actually was a king at the time. So I'm pretty sure it wasn't her grandfather. That'd be weird. But it could have been another king. Remember, Queen Victoria had descendants all over Europe. So it could have been a cousin, for example, maybe in Spain, in Germany. I don't believe the Dutch royalty are related. Swedish, Norwegian, they're all cousins of that. They would have been cousins of King George the Sixth. I don't think it would have been one of his brothers because they would have had the same, possibly the same type of hemophilia, for example. So I'm pretty sure it was another king, and I'm pretty sure I think we read it was not King George's father, so it wasn't Queen Elizabeth's grandfather. That would, I'm pretty sure it wasn't. I'm pretty sure when we read it was somebody who was king at the time. So let's find out. After that long commentary, but I wanted to explain why I'm reading this. So, can you tell us more? Who was Queen Elizabeth's bio-dad? Who was Queen Elizabeth's biological father? Cards are ready. Page of Canes. 5 of Candles, so Ace of Canes in reverse, 10 of Canes upright, Page of Candles upright. So you know what? We have the two girls here. And I know it doesn't match up to their astrology, but we definitely have two daughters on the table. We have a 5 of Wands in reverse and a 10 of Swords upright. We also have an Ace of Swords in reverse. Now this tells me it wasn't a natural coupling. So this wasn't like her mistress or whatever. or her mistress, or like she wasn't having an affair. It wasn't an accident. I think there was something wrong with his ability to have children. This 5 of Wands in reverse and the 10 of Swords upright. If you've taken my my course, sorry, I'm stumbling over my words today and I don't know why. If you've taken my course, you know what the Ace of Swords means. If you're familiar with what the Ace of Swords, it's an Ace of Swords and through the crown. And so it's the actual act of reproduction. And this is in reverse. So this is telling us it wasn't an actual act of reproduction. I think there was something wrong with his sperm somehow. But there's the two girls. There's the two girls. Oh, look at that. 5 of Swords on top of the 5 of Wands. A 7 of Swords upright. Ace of Candles in reverse. Bear with me. I don't think King George VI, or Bertie as he was called, I think he had a lot of sexual problems. This is with the 10 of Swords and the Ace of Wands here in reverse. I don't think he could reproduce. He may have had a difficult time actually doing the act with both the Ace of Candles and the Ace of Canes, Ace of Wands, Ace of Swords in reverse. They had to come up with a different kind of strategy, especially here with the 5 and the 7. They had to come up with a different strategy. 6 of Swords in reverse. Page of Good Cheer. This is the pregnancy right here. Yeah, they actually had to come up with a different way to get her pregnant. Maybe she might have had an affair. Wheel of Fortune upright. 8 of Gifts upright. It was somebody's job to get her pregnant. Look at that, the 2 girls on the Wheel of Fortune. I think they had the 2 girls and they were just happy with that, because you have to remember at that point, he was the spare. So what were the chances that he would, he didn't really need a son, right? Also look at it this way. David, who was King Edward, who abdicated, he didn't have any children. Oh, look at that. The clock agrees with me. I wonder if there was something that maybe there was some kind of something that wasn't viable there in the males, in the family, or they just knew that they had the hemophilia, so they didn't want to reproduce. But they just were lucky that they had 2 children, and so it was a job to get her pregnant. Death in reverse. 4 of Good Cheer in reverse. The Lightning Tree, and the 8 of Candles in reverse. The 6 of Candles in reverse. Yeah, you know what? I don't think he had viable sperm at all. Look at 8, and then we have Death with the Tower and the 4 of Cups, regrets. And then of course the 6 of Candles. So I honestly, I don't think he was viable. I don't think either he had no sperm. You know what? Possibly. I didn't even think to check. Like, did he have like mumps as a young boy? And then that makes you sterile, right? Maybe both boys, David and Bertie, ended up with the mumps somehow, and they both were sterile. And so then it would have been a known thing that they were sterile and couldn't have children. I think I honestly think something like that happened here with the death in reverse and the tower and the four of cups, the regrets, and then the two eights here, especially the eight of candles, like that would be the sperm not going anywhere. That would be the sperm not going anywhere. No victories there. Let's see if we can figure out who was the father. Notice we didn't have any kings show up here. We didn't have any kings show up. So who was the father? So the cards have reconfirmed. So when you read twice like that, you get such a strong confirmation. There's no need to read a third time. I think the cards gave a definite confirmation that who we thought was her biological father was not her father. And I just want to point this out. I just want to interject here. Adoptive parents can be just as much of parent as biological parents. I'm not saying he wasn't her father. I'm not saying he wasn't a parent. We're just looking at who the bio dad, who was the sperm donation, who was the sperm donor. Who was the sperm donor for Queen Elizabeth? Who was the sperm donor for Queen Elizabeth? Who was the sperm donor for Queen Elizabeth? Who was the biological father for Queen Elizabeth II? Who was the biological father for Queen Elizabeth II? Who was the biological father for Queen Elizabeth II? Who is the biological father for Queen Elizabeth II? And when you think about it, even if the bio dad wasn't a descendant of Queen Victoria, all of Queen Elizabeth's children are, because Prince Philip was a descendant of Queen Victoria. So the line isn't broken because we have Prince Philip representing Queen Victoria in that regard. So let's see if we can suss out who was Queen Elizabeth's biological father. Plus, it would have to be royalty in the sense that you would know to keep your mouth shut, right? The discernment is there. You would just be kind of like doing your duty. Ooh, now we have Page of Canes in reverse. There's the King of Swords in reverse. We finally have a king showing up. Oh, the Queen of Swords in reverse. And the Ace of Swords in reverse. And the Page of Good Cheer. You know what? That was somehow a medically induced pregnancy. Absolutely. Absolutely. This was a medically induced pregnancy. 100%. 100%. 100%. Justice in reverse. 9 of Wands in reverse. Queen of Good Cheer upright. I think they tried multiple times. They tried multiple times. Queen of Good Cheer. Now, who would that be? King of Good Cheer. Now we're starting to get some people here involved. 4 of Good Cheer in reverse. And the 7 of Good Cheer. All right, so we have, sometimes the King of Good Cheer is the doctor. The doctor and the nurse. The doctor and the nurse here. The Queen of Good Cheer can be the nurse, and the King of Good Cheer can be the doctor. The King of Canes, though, that would be, that could be a surgeon. Because we have the Ace of Canes here in reverse, showing that it wasn't a natural pregnancy. 8 of Canes. We just get so many swords when we start talking about this. 9 of Swords in reverse. 10 of Good Cheer. 7 of Swords. And 6 of Good Cheer. You know what? I think it was just a really, really good family doctor. I'm wondering if with the 6 of Good Cheer in reverse, It wasn't somebody related. It wasn't somebody with ancestry. The list here, second chances. And I wonder too, is because they had no clue that they were, yeah, sure, they were in the line of succession, but what were the chances that they'd ever reach the throne? Right? So I wonder if that was just a strategy just to get their own little family. And how angry the Queen Mother was with all of this when he abdicated and they were pushed into the limelight. And I wonder if that was part of the 8 and 9 of candles here, the arcanes. I wonder if that was part of it, that, would secrets be revealed? They have their happy little family and now everything is changing. And I'm almost looking at this list of like the list of the family tree, right? 8 of good cheer in reverse, ace of good cheer, 7 of gifts, and knight of candles. Wheel of the year, wheel of fortune again. So I'm thinking here, who would be the king of swords back then? King of swords, the queen of swords. So it was somebody who was, were they married? Were they married? I'm going to get where's my other Christmas cards? Here they are. Let's ask and see. Was this king of swords married to the queen of swords, or were they recently divorced? And that's why he was available. Was this king of, oh, there he is. Was the king of swords married? Was the king of swords married? Was the king of swords married? It was the end of his marriage. That's the coffin. So that's right. So it was the end of his marriage. Or he was a widower. He might have been a widower. So what kings were widowers back in 1926? Because I believe Queen Elizabeth was born 1927. So there's a clue right there. Who was a widower in the 9 months before Queen Elizabeth was born? I'm going to ask. I know I'm this deep in. Was it an affair? Was it an affair, or was it by doctor's assistant? Was it an affair? Did the Queen Mother have 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 an affair? Ooh, the moon. The moon. Child. Did the Queen Mother have an affair? Lucky, we got 2 bottles of champagne there with the child. Boy, oh boy. What I'm looking for, was this surgical? Was this surgical? Was this surgical? Because it looks like somebody had a lot of fun here. So but that doesn't mean they were having an affair. Was it surgical? Was it surgical? No, because I was looking for the scythe or something similar. I think it was a contract. I think it was a contract. Yeah, a keyhole surgery. Yeah, it was surgery. And it was the donor was a recent widower, a king who was a recent widower. So there's a couple of clues. We have a doctor and a nurse. They did try a couple of times here with the 9 of Wands in reverse. It took them a couple of tries. I'm almost wondering, because we have 8 and then 7 with this cup in the middle. That would be the sperm entering the uterus. I wonder if it took 7 or 8 times. Would have they done that back then? She didn't have an affair. The Queen Mother didn't have an affair. At all. No, that was a contract that she had. It did take a couple of times though. Could have been 7 or 8 times over both pregnancies though, right? Okay, so we have a king who's a widower in 1926. So let me just Google that. King. Sorry, I have to do this, but this is the new world. King who was widowed in 1920, let's say 25. Well, this is interesting. Queen Alexandra has heart attack and is near death. Widow of King Edward VII is suddenly stricken in Sandringham House in 1925. So could that be... I'm just looking here. Boy, now it brings us right back to 1612. I don't need that. Queen Alexandra, widow of King Edward. So she died after him. Okay, no, I'm not going to waste your time doing that. I don't know what else to ask, you guys. I wish you're probably yelling at the screen. Ask this. So is Margaret? Did Princess Margaret, was her father King George VI? Let's find out. Margaret, was her father King George VI? Was her father King George VI? See, now to me, Margaret looks more like her father than Queen Elizabeth. Cards are ready. 10 of Wands in reverse. There's the Page of Swords again. The Star in reverse. The Lovers. And the Hierophant in reverse. I'm going to say no. No. 5 of Cups in reverse. 7 of Gifts. There we have the 7. Maybe saw on the 7th time Margaret was born. 6 of Wands. 8 of Swords in reverse. 9 of Swords in reverse. Queen of Good Cheer. And we have to remember the Queen Mother was a Leo. She would be the Queen of Wands. She hasn't shown up here at all. The Child. I'm going to say no. No, he didn't show up here at all. The burden of not being with the royal family. So Margaret wasn't either. There's the King of Canes again, the King of Swords. The Ace of Canes in reverse. The Queen of Candles in reverse. There she is. There's the Queen Mother. and the Knight of Candles, so Knight of Wands. And the Sun in reverse. No, Margaret also was assisted by a doctor. And I don't believe there was an affair going on. I think this was just something that they knew they had to do. Because I don't believe that King George was viable. The cards are telling me. So Margaret also had assisted pregnancy with the Queen Mother. I wish we could find out who is this king. I'm going to ask the cards, is the king in Europe? Is the king in Europe, right? Because what if it would be a European king. I'm going to ask, is the king on the continent? Is the king on the continent of Europe? Is the king on the continent of Europe? Is the king on the continent of Europe? Because I'm not getting that it was a English king. Because that would be her grandfather, would be her real father then. Is the king on the continent of Europe? Is the king on the continent of Europe? But remember, it was somebody who was king. It wasn't somebody in the line, so it wouldn't have been a brother. Queen of Candles in reverse. There she is, the Queen Mother. Knight of Candles. This Knight of Candles showed up a few times. Four of Good Cheer, regrets. There's the damn Page of Canes again in reverse. Five of Good Cheer. You know what? I wonder if she was pregnant 5 times, 3 weren't viable, and just 2 were. I wonder if she ended up getting pregnant a total of 5 times, but 3 weren't viable and two were. Because I keep getting that there was a lot of regret after they did it. Like a lot of regret. 9 of Swords in reverse, 10 of Candles in reverse, and the Star in reverse. The Lightning Tree in reverse, 2 of Canes, and 3 of Gifts. Knight of Good Cheer in reverse. Knight of Good Cheer. The List. The High Priestess. The Moon and the 3 of Canes. And the Sinterklaas in reverse. I think this Knight of Good Cheer in reverse, I think somebody tried to betray with this 3 of Canes here and upset the royal family. I wonder if that was part of King Edward's or David's abdication. I wonder, because this is the Knight of Good Cheer and the 3 of in reverse plus the betrayal. I think somebody tried to spill the secret. Somebody tried to spill the secret and get the truth out there and ruin the royal family. Justice in reverse, 9 of Good Cheer, the Chariot, and the 4 of Candles, and the Devil. You know what I'm getting? Whoever was the father died shortly after to keep the secret. There's his funeral right here. You know what I'm getting? Because this is the Chariot, this is the reindeer. Well, where do the reindeer come from? North. So that would be your Norway, your Sweden, because justice is in reverse, and the Four of Candles, that's the funeral. That's the funeral with the devil here. With Krampus, where does Krampus come from? Northern Europe. I wonder if that's why we keep getting King of Swords. It's somebody from the north, from somebody from the winter countries, right? Because swords is winter. I think this person had an untimely demise shortly after. Three of Good Cheer, Six of Swords in reverse, Seven of Gifts, and the Holly King in reverse, and Death. You know what? Because remember when I did Queen Elizabeth, it was somebody who was on the throne. There he is. He's thrown. Look at who Death is pointing at with the devil here. I think he did his duty and he was done. So now let's search who died in just before 9 months before Queen Elizabeth was born. Actually, you know what? It would be after Margaret was born. And to keep the secret, or maybe he was already at a natural point, right? If he already lost his wife, maybe he was already at a natural age that it was time to go anyways. I think we're looking at a king of the north. I think we're looking at somebody from one of the northern countries. That's about as close as I'm going to get. I mean, cards can't spell names out for me. Who do you think it is? Is there... I'm not that familiar with European royalty, to be honest. I know it couldn't be Holland. I know there's zero genetic. Oh, what am I saying? Maybe it could be. No, it was all queens then. It was all queens. Okay. Anyways, let's have a search and see if we can find out who this is. I hope this is enough clues for you. So it'd be somebody who died shortly after Margaret was born. Even could be up to a year or two, 3 years. And somebody, I think it's somebody from the north. It's somebody from the north. All right. Well, what do you think? What do you think? Do you think the cards are leading us down a garden path, or do you think there's something there? Thank you so much for watching. Take good care. Bye for now.